I love, I bleed, learn, laugh, I believe. I'll take my chances, I am you. I tell you this story, I give you my story, so I can live, live, live. I can live, live, live.
Hi, this is ShopTalk. I'm Tia Ontiveros. The quest for a better life has resulted in thousands of Filipinos leaving the country for greener pastures. While life may be better off while they are working, in most cases the same cannot be said when they return to the Philippines. Oftentimes, overseas Filipino workers fail to prepare for life back home after their stint abroad ends. To tell us how OFWs should manage their finances to be able to start a business here in the Philippines, we're joined by financial advisor Francisco Colayco. Mr. Colayco is also the chairman of the Colayco Foundation for Education. Hi, sir. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, before we go into what we're going to talk about today, tell us first about the foundation, the CFP Colayco
The CFP or Colayco Foundation. We have just one advocacy, and we're focusing on financial literacy, making sure that every income-earning Filipino is able to grow, protect what he's earning, spend it wisely, so that in the end he can share it.
So it's not as simple as just earning money and then spending it and putting aside some of the bank. You actually do a plan, no?
Because we think it's an obligation to grow wealth over our lifetime, because otherwise we can't share what we don't have.
Okay.
That's the primary foundation of our advocacy.
When you say grow wealth, I'm sure most people who hear it for the first time wonder what exactly you mean by that.
I think most of us are sort of married into the mindset that the only way to improve financially is by our sweat. When in fact, the other side of the coin is we should learn how to become a knowledgeable investor as well. Part of what we earn actively, we should learn how to invest. And we should do this simultaneously so that it becomes easier to accumulate some kind of financial comfort. At the end of the day, we have to stop working.
Okay. How did you get interested in teaching OFWs or financial literacy for OFWs?
But early in 2000, 2002 or 2001, I think, I got involved in radio just to share my views on anyone to ask anything about money. Because I saw a lot of people earning so much, but they don't work as hard to keep what they earn. They end up in more debt because they spend more than what they earn. The more they earn, the more they spend. So I thought I'd share my views on this thing. That's how I got into this advocacy. It was not planned until much later on. The Hong Kong people invited us, and true enough, before I knew it, I decided to write a book instead of just giving handouts. And I could see that I must have touched the raw nerves, because everyone was calling me up and say, you wrote about me in your book. And it turns out that really we're focused on earning to spend instead of earning to grow.
Okay, so it's meaning a huge majority of OFWs.
Not only any income earning, typical any income is focused on earning to spend, lifestyle mindset instead of mindset of abundance. So that I thought I'd give my 2 cents worth.
Lifestyle mindset as opposed to
mindset of preparing for the future, having some financial comfort. Because right now we outspend, the pace of our spending outpaces our earning capacity. So we, like most people now, I'm sure those of our viewers today are already thinking, what do I buy with my bonus?
Okay. What do I buy with my bonus? Not where will I invest my bonus?
That's right. So we just seem to have this mindset, bahala na, I will always earn. And then it hits us at a certain point that there are emergencies in life, or worse, we lose a job.
When it comes to, if we're going to focus on the OFWs, overseas Filipino workers, when do you tell them that, it's time to set your personal financial goals? Before they leave the country? When they're abroad? When they come back?
It should be before. Because this is the sector of our society that has really, or is really demonstrating their will to change their lives. Whatever reason they have. They're going abroad at the risk of having a dysfunctional family to earn. And I think at that point they have to be really financially literate and not to blow away what they earn.
Okay. And how do they go about it? What's the first thing they have to do while they're still here before they leave?
Well, we try to give them what we call the basics of financial literacy and understanding that the first step is to understand where you are financially. How much are you worth today? What are your assets? What are your liabilities? And then set a very simple, achievable financial goal. What do you do with what you earn? I don't call it budgeting, because budgeting is a negative term. It's just basically planning your financial life. Choose the lifestyle that you can sustain and live within your means. The 80-20 rule is what we propose. Live within 80%, 20% is what you prepare for your future. You invest in your future with your 20% as a minimum.
Okay. And also I suppose they're supposed to agree how much they're going to be remitting every month, or?
You see, this is the problem with, that I have noticed among our OFWs. There's too much pressure from families here, so that they feel obligated to remit everything they have. In fact, some borrow
to
remit, because when they hit a market like Hong Kong, for example, all of a sudden there are financiers, finance companies that say, hey, you're an OFW, you have a credit for 150,000. Right away, no questions asked. That's the first time in their lives. So they're overwhelmed. 150,000 peso loan. Collateral free.
Just like that?
Just like that.
Which they will pay off anyway?
Yes, at a fairly high interest.
Okay.
So they're overwhelmed with that. All of a sudden, the request from their children, they'll come pamangkin, buy a tricycle, buy a TV, buy this, buy that. Anyway, I will earn it. I'll borrow now.
Okay.
And once they're able to repay, they keep on borrowing. That becomes their lifestyle. So it becomes a downward spiral. They live, they finance their operations through borrowing.
Yeah. But you also said, you mentioned like pamangkin, and parang there's an entire extended family that's dependent on this OFW. What can we do about that? I mean, shouldn't we be setting boundaries?
Yes.
I mean, aren't you, if the OFW, hindi ba yung OFW is primarily responsible first to the spouse and to the children?
That's right. But the extended family system is very, very, very strong.
Well, what do they do if you don't buy it for them? Ostracize you?
Probably. But to me, some of it is self-inflicted. There was one of our constituents in Hong Kong, and she said that for 17 years she was remitting 90%. And I said, why don't you stop it? You have to, at the end of the day, you have to fend for yourself. What do you do when you go home? So immediately she quit. She started to remit only 30%. 9 months later, we talked to her. She saved 90,000 pesos.
Okay.
And I asked her, did your family complain? No.
Oh.
So it was self-inflicted.
Okay.
It's a culture. I'm not a sociologist, but it's a culture. How do we change that? My own practical view is just to tell them money is a family matter. You involve your children, tell them your real state, and move accordingly.
Okay. You're saying it's self-inflicted, but at the same time, earlier you were saying, the family members will ask for this, ask for that. So, do you just talk to the OFW, or you also talk to the family? You stick to the budget, parang ganun.
That's why when we do workshops, we include the families as well.
And how do they react in those workshops? Do they?
Well, I think
you get to change their mindsets.
Well, we do that by actually giving them a chance to have their own personal financial plan. They go up to the workshop with a very simple financial plan that they can follow. Because I think deep down they all realize this is not going to last. We just make them realize that. But once you give them a roadmap, hey, you're going to improve your life, even for as small as 30 pesos a day. It's 1,000 pesos a month. If you invest it correctly, it will accumulate to so much. It's a good roadmap, and we just tell them where to put it.
Okay. So before you got into the picture, most OFWs didn't know what. Where
Most of them follow the other guys.
They'll buy this.
They buy this, and they buy jewelry. You know,
Jewelry?
the funny thing, unfortunately, they even end up buying fancy jewelry, and they think they can pawn it because they think they can pawn it. So it's a wrong set of values, but that's what they know. So we tell them basically, that don't rely on yourself. So what we did in Hong Kong was we formed for the first time a cooperative where you're not allowed to borrow. It's a cooperative to grow the money. So we're now acquiring our own franchise of a very major franchise, which they will own. We're buying a small rural bank, which they will own. There, they can borrow from the bank, not from the cooperative. And they're getting dividends from it. And the cooperative that we put together, we're not going to lend money to them, but we will partner with them if they want to go into business. But provided there's a professional management, because that's the downfall of most OFWs. They go into business with no professional management. Or not, well, I use the term professional very loosely. Just shall we say, competent management.
Okay. They go into business while they're abroad. So parang may negosyo dito.
Provided the family member who will run it is eligible or is competent to do it.
Okay. So what else do you tell them? What else do they have to know?
Well, the number one more powerful tool to improve the financial life is leverage. By leverage, I don't mean just borrowing. It's pooling of resources. For example, a food cart, very popular. I have. You see, what drives them is capital, which is the wrong reason to go into business. Just because I have capital, I'll go into it. So they have 80,000, 200,000 to invest in a food cart. The logic of that business is you have to have at least 10 to make it viable. But if you only have 1 or 2, chances are you won't be able to sustain it. So that's what we tell them. There's 3 of you. There are 4 of you. Pool your resources together and get 10 or get 5. Start with 5 or 10. Balance off the losses and gains. Maybe in 1 month, out of the 10, 2 or 3 will lose. Then you divide the gains from the 7. So this is what we tell them. Don't rely on just yourself. This is the essence of cooperativism, really, more than anything else.
Okay. And do most of them just rely or think that when I get back home, that's when I'm going to set up a business?
Yes, they only decide when they're already here. And worse, they just copy what the others do. So the most typical investments are tricycle, FX, small sari store, things that they can relate to what they hear from others without serious study on, is it really the right business for them? Is it sustainable in that locality? Or is it even, is it something that they can afford? Time-wise and money-wise.
Yeah. What do they tell you? Well, anything bigger than that, hindi ko na ma-afford yan.
It's because they rely only on themselves. When we tell them, we already have certain cases, a pooling of 3 or 5 makes sense. But, you know, it takes time to make them realize it. But once they see it running, like this major franchise we're putting up in Cebu by next year, it's going to be a major operation, major enterprise for them. It's going to be managed professionally, and the returns, I think, will be excellent for them.
So in the end, they realize that they don't just have to rely on what they earn abroad.
That's to be at the same time.
Okay. And I suppose there are success stories, no? I mean, apart from all these businesses, franchises being put
quite a number, but also quite a number of tragedies when they get victimized by scams.
When you scams, meaning like multi-level.
Well, multi-level per se is not a scam, but there are quite a number of scams using multi-level system.
Okay.
But per se, it's not a scam.
Okay.
If there is a real product. But according to SEC, in the last 5 years, we lost over 70 billion. 70 billion to scams.
And like what scams do they fall prey to?
Multi-level, remember multi-level, 8% per month promise. The latest one was Frank Swiss promising 4.5% per day. You know how much they were able to fool people with?
How much?
$20 million.
Okay.
That's a lot. But who in his mind can believe that you can sustain a 4.5% per day?
Okay. So if it's too good to be true,
it's probably not true.
It's probably not true.
So, but you see, they're focused on returns. But the reality in life is returns is something we cannot control. Risk is something we can control. All returns are risk-driven. I don't care what you want to do. Any objective you want to achieve carries a risk. Coming here, I took a risk. I could have had an accident. Remote, but the risk is there. I can control it by driving carefully. But all of us, the tragedy is we're focused on the return. Something we cannot control. Look at the financial crisis in the world today. Because everybody is return.
And why are people focused on return? Is it greed?
Partly greed, partly ignorance.
Okay.
Partly the desire to get out of this hard life. Earn as much as I can. That's why I always say the quickest way to get rich quick is to get rich slow. Slow is fast.
Slow is fast.
When it comes to money.
Slow but sure.
Yeah.
Slow but sure. Focus on the risk, not on the return.
That's right. And you grow your money slowly but surely. You know, 8-10% per month compounded annually is a fantastic return. 1,000 pesos a month, if you're lucky to average 20% per year, which is possible. No guarantees. Over 40 years, it's 97 million. That's what I tell my friends. That's what it's costing you if you smoke.
Okay. So you don't smoke, of course.
I stopped a
You
long
stopped
time ago.
long time ago. How did you stop? Cold turkey?
Cold turkey.
That's
I
the
sold
best.
my vice to my wife.
Oh my goodness, your wife smokes.
No, serious. I sold it.
Wait, how
I
so?
said, you want me to stop smoking? You buy me, because at that time I was a power tool maniac.
Oh, so you asked her to buy you something?
So expensive, you know. We were newly
what was
married. A very nice power tool kit costing 1 month's salary. I said, you buy it for me for my birthday and I'll stop smoking.
Wow.
If I don't, I'll
Take it
pay you
back.
double.
Oh,
And I
talaga.
did.
You did what?
I stopped.
You stopped.
Cold turkey, New Year, 1972.
Wow, so many lessons, ha?
Oh.
Stop cold turkey. No. Of course, we're talking about I like that. You focus on the risk, not the returns. Okay. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Francisco
Thank you.
Colaico. You'll join us the last segment, sir. Thank
thank
you.
you.
We'll talk to a balikbayan who started her own business early this year. Please stay tuned. Shop Talk will be right back.
Habang nagsisimula ka pa lang, dapat cost conscious ka, no, maging matipid, aralin mo yung business, walang humpay, na walang tigil sa pag-aaral. At saka makipag-network ka sa kapwa industry mo.
The Philippines celebrates one of the world's most colorful Christmas seasons. Now, you can see it clearly without your eyeglasses or contact lenses. Give yourself or your loved one the gift of sight. The Asian Eye Institute in Rockwell, Makati uses the world's latest breakthrough in LASIK treatment at a very practical cost.
Welcome back to Shop Talk. I'm Pia Ontiveros. We're talking about how OFWs or balikbayans can get into business. We now have with us Sandy Soriano. She's the owner of SRS Arts and Antiques. Sandy came back last year from a 28-year stay in the United States, and last March she started her own business. Hi, ma'am. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Pia.
Okay, 28 years in the
28
U.S.
years.
Ah, okay. And tell us first how you why you went there. And what was it?
It was actually after graduation from college, and all my classmates were like all going there, so I decided, I wanted to go there too for vacation. Then
okay.
when I got there, then I decided to stay.
Okay. So, and then you found work
Yes.
in a distribution?
Actually,
nutrition
yeah.
company.
We've been in this business, my husband and I have been in this business for 18 years. We're a distributor of Carico products, which is based in Florida.
Okay. And and you're also a real estate agent?
Yes, part-time, 2 years ago.
Okay. And then you decided, so this business, you decided to put up this business here in the Philippines.
Yes.
How did it happen?
My husband and I have always been fascinated with antiques, with nice furniture, fine things, and we've always wanted to come back, for retirement in the Philippines, and we've been thinking, what kind of business can we do over there, and if I had to do some business in the Philippines, it has to be something that I really like to do. It has something that I would enjoy doing. And I thought about it. We've always liked furnitures, these antiques, we like to go to estate sales. So we've decided this is what we're going to be doing, because we like to shop and buy things.
Okay. And then instead of bringing them home to your own house,
Right.
shop, buy them, and sell them.
Right.
Estate sales, meaning?
Yeah, houses that are selling some stuff. That's where we buy our stuff. And also auctions. Go to auctions.
And you set up this business just last year, no?
Actually, this year. March,
year.
February, March.
Okay. And you plan to resign from
Actually,
your
retire.
work? Retire.
So this is actually in preparation for our retirement.
Okay. All the while you were working in the U.S. for 28 years, did you have a goal in mind, like, okay, by this time I'm going to have a business in the Philippines on which I can fall back on?
Yes.
Was that?
Yes.
Can you tell us how you processed that?
Actually, I've never wanted to stay in the U.S., but then since you're young, and the opportunities, there's a lot of opportunities there. Then that's how I stayed there for a long time. But I'm sorry, what was the question?
How did you process this? When you were thinking about how to put up the business and a goal of putting up a business here.
What do you mean?
I mean, how did you go about it?
How did we prepare for it? We've actually prepared for it for like 2 years. We started buying stuff, and then we had the garage full of furnitures and antiques and all these different items. So we actually prepared for like a year before we actually, because we shipped out a container, a 40-footer container.
And your shop is where?
It's in Kamuning Road. It's called Swap Meat.
Swap?
Swap Meat.
Why Swap Meat?
That's actually the name of it's a building. It's an old building in Kamuning Road. And there's actually different stalls in there. So I have 2 stalls in there. So and there's other people there who's also selling antiques.
Okay. And this is your first time to have your own business?
Actually, in the Philippines.
In Philippines,
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Earlier, Mr. Kalaiko was talking about people who live and or work, live and work abroad, who sometimes don't have a financial plan in mind. And did you come across people like that in the U.S.? You know, earn a lot and then no.
Yeah.
Meron ganun.
Yes.
And can you tell us their stories and how it may have affected you?
Well, actually, there's a lot of people because, people there, they work so hard. But then some people there, they're not able to save some money, right? So, and they don't really think about the future. There's really no financial plan, so and that's what happens. But there's also a lot of people who, like to go back and, like when they reach that stage, then that's, they like to be able to go back and have a business or stay in the Philippines for good.
So when you're retiring and coming back and managing the business here?
I'm actually, I'm already semi-retired.
Okay.
Okay, because I've been going back and forth for the past 5 years, looking for something, for an opportunity here.
Okay, and that's semi-retired. But when are you going to be retired? Really retired?
Probably another 5 years.
Okay. And then you and your husband come back here.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and the business is doing well
Back there.
here.
It's yes, so far.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Santi Soriano. You'll join us the last
Thank
segment,
you.
ma'am. Thank you. Your questions and your comments after the break. Please stay tuned. Shop Talk will be right back.
consortium of the top media innovators from Guam and the Philippines are starting the countdown to the year's most important gathering of outstanding leaders in broadcasting, business, and politics from the Philippines. It's Leadership in Challenging Times, an executive forum. Coming to the Hyatt Regency Guam on Friday, December 5th. Hosted by ANC News anchorman Ricky Carandang, featuring former President of the Philippines Fidel Ramos, ABS-CBN Chairman Gabi Lopez, ABS-CBN President Charo Santos Concho, ANC Managing Director Maria Ressa, Philippine Tourism Secretary Ace Durano, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Interior for U.S. Insular Affairs David Cohen. Explore critical challenges and innovative ideas with these industry giants. Leadership in Challenging Times, an executive forum. For more inquiries, call ANC 415-2272, local 5953.
Look good and feel good. It's what you deserve. Impossible? Not with beauty and fitness guru Corey Quirino, as she presents a guide to healthier living. So come and have a taste of the good life. Only on ANC.
Top headlines from across the country and the world. Opinion and analysis on relevant issues. Business and sports updates. Feature stories on entertainment and lifestyle. We have the content that makes you click. Anytime, anywhere. Log on and see history unfold
the days when business was ruled by veterans with old-fashioned ideas. Today's entrepreneurs are forward-looking and tech-savvy, inventive and innovative, take risks and think out of the box. Startup is a program that offers this new breed of enterprising Filipinos with tools and resources to start, improve, and expand their own business. Buckle down to business with Startup on ANC.
Hello, I'm Corina Sanchez asking your questions now. Have you been summoned by the Senate? Do they actually do that? Really somebody you would automatically think of?
Hindi pwede by remote control.
They do not deserve to be branded as corrupt.
Drastic reforms are needed.
Not a credible witness.
Not trying to take over, they just want to replace management. I guess that includes me.
These are the people who make a difference in your lives.
I was trying to get your name.
Hindi ko alam yun dati.
I am far from being a saint. One thing I am not a thief.
You have no money, you lost your life. Is it worth it?
I go along with the life. I know I would lose myself. Whatever little respect that I have, I like to keep it.
Until then, have a good one.
Welcome back to Shop Talk. I'm Pion Tiveros. We're again joined by Francisco Colaiko of the Colaiko Foundation for Education and Sandy Soriano of SRS Arts and Antiques. So before the questions and comments, what do you think of Sandy Soriano's experience?
Well, it's each one to his own, really. You know? So as I keep saying, personal finance is really very personal, and
okay.
what others might do may not be applicable to what she's doing, and vice versa. That is what I try. You can emulate people, you can follow them, but be sure it's the right one for you. That's financial literacy in my mind. All these are good examples, good products, but is it the right one for you?
Okay. Questions and comments from the viewers. Mas okay po ba para sa isang OFW na mag-franchise o magsimula ng sariling negosyo?
Generally, yes. Generally. Because franchise solves a lot of problems for a startup business.
Okay.
Lalo na if you've never had the experience to run a business. Just understanding the market logic, pricing, recording, logistics, manual of operations, etc. Like restaurants, for example, people are focused on the cash register and sales. Yung pala, your inventory is being siphoned off. So a lot of those hard-nosed experience, you learn very fast. That's what you pay for, the mistakes. So if you have the interest and the money in a particular franchise, and it's a good franchise, that's the better way to go, at least to start.
Yeah, and then eventually
you can go on your own.
Go on your own. Yeah. Okay. From Eric of San Pablo, Mr. Colaiko, what do you think is the most viable line of food cart businesses at this time?
Food cart is location centric. I mean, it's what.
So it's not so much what the food you sell.
It's where you sell it.
Okay.
Like in some cases, it's a mother type sweets. In some cases, it's soup type. So
when you say location, what do you mean? Like in a shopping mall, or the location within the shopping mall?
Supposing you are in a high traffic area, you're not in a mall, but you're in a transit area where a lot of people, a lot of traffic, as I say, waiting for buses and MTR, etc. That's a different kind of food cart, as opposed to a food cart inside the mall, where your customers are different. So inside the mall, you could have the time to really prepare nice churros or nice different kinds of food items. But in a fast-moving area, it's quick food. Pick up something hot. Sometimes even tasteless, but it sells because you're in the right location.
Pag gutom kasi yung tao, sarap. I'd like to know if I can consult with Mr. Colaiko. If so, how much is the fee?
I don't really charge a fee. It's the foundation who arranges it. If you write us an email, We can help you. Just give us enough information.
Yeah, I think we're flashing the email addresses on the screen. No? I'm 25, single, and expecting a scholarship abroad. The stipend I will receive is more than what I will be needing. How do I invest the money to be able to save for a year? Should I send the excess amount to my family, invest it in a business, or just save it in the bank? I'd like to, long question. I'd like to pursue postgraduate studies later on, and all of my family members are income earners.
I think very clear ang objective niya. If her objective or his objective is to prepare for that postgraduate studies, then all the savings must be directed towards that particular goal, which means you have to quantify it. Because having it quantified and knowing how much time you need will tell you how much risk you can take. If you don't know that and you just want to earn the most likely you'll take the highest risk and you'll fail.
Okay, so one of the questions is, should I send it home to the family?
Family apparently doesn't need it because they're all income earners.
Yeah.
Think of yourself first. You cannot share what you don't have. That's what.
Right, okay. From Heidi Santiago, I have a sister who's an OFW. Saan ako pwedeng maka-attend ng seminar ni Mr. Colayco?
We have seminars, not as regular as we want to, but we do conduct public seminars in our own building at City State Condominium Center in Shaw. We normally hold it on Saturdays, and if people are interested, they can email us and we'll give them the exact schedules. We don't have it regularly for the public. We have it for private groups.
Okay. So when you get like a group of 20
then
people,
we can,
20 and up, okay. I'm here for the Christmas break and would like to explore investment opportunities. Are capital markets here still stable at this time?
At this time, capital markets are volatile. That's why it's very opportune to start investing long term.
Okay.
The more volatile it is, the better chances of making it well over a longer time.
Alright.
You can get good bargains now in the capital markets.
Magkano capital ang kailangan kong i-save para sa negosyo? Anong capital requirement ngayon ng mga negosyo sa Pilipinas?
So this is what I was telling you earlier. We're capital focused, not on the business. The business dictates what capital you will need. Sometimes it's just sweat. You can start it. So I would suggest the letter writer here to basically focus on what he or she wants to do, then move, compute backwards how much he needs, and then raise that capital, not the other way around.
Okay, and then focus on the risk, not the
That's
return.
right.
How often does Ms. Soriano come home to monitor her business, ma'am?
Actually, I just started a business last February and haven't been back there. I will be going back this January, but then I plan to be here every 3 months, and this one of the challenges is that you really have to have a reliable person to look up after the business, and that's it.
And you have a reliable person.
I hope so.
Is it okay to endorse a business started by an OFW to a relative? Is it also good to have written agreements that my relative is just there to manage it? What other prerequisites should I include in the agreement? Di ba? Kamag-anak usually ang
I think that
pinagkakatiwalaan.
business, whether kamag-anak or not, it's good to have the intent in writing, the agreement in writing, the purpose and the terms. Who knows? As I said, life is all about risk. Something could happen to you, and who would know what to do after?
Okay, hindi pwedeng usapang
Hindi pwede.
magkapatid or whatever. No. From Claire Reyes of Santa Rosa, Laguna, is it still okay to invest in mutual funds, government securities today?
Definitely. Mutual funds and especially government securities are the least risky of all. You'll always get paid because the government can print money if it has to pay you. But that's true. Capital markets, mutual funds, if you have 5-year money or longer, yes.
Okay. When will Mr. Colayco have talks in Hong Kong and Singapore?
Hong Kong is January, I think, 12. We will have that.
Okay.
Singapore, we don't have a schedule as of now.
Okay. Final words, Sandy Soriano, you first now.
My final word, if you're going to be opening a business, it's very important that you have to have really good customer service. And you can't be judgmental on your clients or your customers, and you have to have some business ethics.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Colayco?
My message is simple. At any income level today, you can plan to achieve financial comfort, but you just have to be financially literate. You have to be able to plan and then execute.
Okay. Maraming salamat po, Mr.
Maraming
Francisco.
salamat. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Sandy Soriano. Thank you. For more information on how OFWs can plan their finances to have enough as capital for a business, you can read a special feature on that and other topics for Balikbayans in Entrepreneurs. This month's Entrepreneurs is available in today's issue of the Business World. You can also read the articles online at www.entrepreneurs.com.ph. Thank you for watching Shop Talk. I'm Pia Ontiveros. Join us again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow.
so significant. It has the power to change